Okay. So let's call the meeting to order, 7:30. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have visitor comments? We have visitor comments? That's okay.
Especially on days that are not really expressing what we're doing. But then we might even all possible rain that evening. Thursday. It'll be up in the 60s potentially. Rain that night. So that's
Goyle?
Hello?
Hey.
Okay. First off, I'd like to start by thanking everybody on the board and Dr. Mahon for the leadership in the vote that they made the last board meeting prior to that, to make masks optional. See that that's working tonight. We have folks here that are wearing masks, which is great, and folks that are not wearing masks. And I think the wearing of masks does impact school. It does impact learning. It does. It's not just put the mask on and deal with it. I think at some point you're going to have to reel back some of these kids. I think you should pay close attention as we go further away from the pandemic and it becomes more endemic to make sure the kids aren't wearing it well into next year. I think that can impact learning. So you might have to address the notes for wearing a mask. I mean, that's a legitimate possibility. I'd also like to talk about the Levin vote and kind of a peace offering towards the three of you guys who voted not to see the findings of that report. Whoever gave you that advice, if anybody did, I think they did you a great disservice. If you want to run again, I think that's likely going to be disqualifying as far as the electorate is concerned. So just a word of advice, if you get any advice on things like that, you might question where it's coming from. And then finally, I just want to, about 3 weeks ago, Heather Hartman-Kraft sent a Facebook post, and I thought it made a lot of sense for at the point we are now and the juncture that we're at. Her post essentially said, hybrid, remote, mask, everything is now kind of for all intents and purposes behind us. Let's work together for the kids because there are things that need to be addressed, and you guys are a team. You don't always have to get along with your teammates, but you have a common goal. And that goal is the welfare of children and the education of Lehigh. And I just hope that, and obviously you've seen that discourse from our side, but I'll pledge that anybody I can influence or talk to, I'm going to say, hey, let's be civil, let's be good people. And I hope the same from you guys, especially because now all of these are on record. And years from now, when we're through all of this, and we'll see what the impact was, positive or negative, hopefully you'll comport yourself, all of you, and all of us out in the audience, comport ourselves in a good way, and we move this district forward, because I think it's in good hands with all of you, including people that I don't disagree with. So thank you for your time, and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Nicole Dolan, and I'm speaking tonight for two reasons. The first is directed at the school board. I am reiterating my request that a fail-safe of some sort, whatever you might agree upon, be added to the health and safety plan. If another problematic variant came about, wouldn't it be good to proactively mask and keep classes in person? Wouldn't that be better than leaving the administration with no options for holding an outbreak at bay and leaving no other option besides holding classes virtually? It seems the most responsible thing to do for the whole community. The second, I think, should be directed at the administration. When the health and safety plan was updated by the board most recently, it still read as follows under diagnostic and screening testing. Parents are required to report a positive diagnosis of a student case of COVID-19 to the appropriate SLSD school nurse. Employees are required to report a positive diagnosis of COVID-19 to the Director of Human Resources. This makes sense to me and sounds like what this whole board agreed upon. The policy for masking and quarantining of close contacts had changed. But my understanding was that it was always expected that confirmed positive cases would isolate. I asked the administration then, why did the wording of the community COVID-19 communication change from staff and students must notify the SLSD nursing team immediately if they are experiencing symptoms related to COVID-19 or are a confirmed case of COVID-19, to staff and students should notify the SLSD nursing team immediately if they are experiencing symptoms related to COVID-19 or are a confirmed case of COVID-19. Also, some school communications are being worded as, please remember, if you test positive, we appreciate if you would let us know. Why are these communications in line with the board-approved health and safety plan? On a similar note, I just wanted to voice that I miss the old style of the community COVID-19 communications. It was helpful to see when the cases were in the school and whether or not it was during the infectious period. Now, the chart that gets updated is only telling us the dates of when test results are given to the district. I just think that showing the details is more transparent than what we have been getting since January 31st. If there's any way the old style could be brought back, it would be greatly appreciated. Just on a topic, you guys were talking in workshop about the calendar, and I agree with lots of things that were being said, and I was just wondering, when you guys talk about it later, is it possible for the flexible instruction days to be handled differently for elementary and secondary? Would it be possible to say, let's not do virtual days for the elementary students, let's tack those on to the end, but for secondary students, because of the concerns about dated, timed testing, let's use as many as we can. Thank you.
Okay, next is the solicitor's report, and I apologize for not having the report ready at the last meeting, but we do have a couple executive sessions to go over. On November 8th, 2021, there was an executive session to discuss personnel and litigation. There was another executive session to discuss personnel and litigation on November 22nd, 2021. There was an executive session on January 24th, 2022 to discuss the litigation matters. And again tonight to discuss additional litigation matters. Thank you.
We have a review of the minutes. So I'm going to take these together. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the January 24th meeting and the workshop minutes of January 24th.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Motion carries. Mr. Mann?
Yes, thank you, Mr.
I'm sorry.
And I was jumping
How
right in.
I'm just making
I
assumptions.
misheard.
How many in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then the motion carries. Sorry, guys.
And thank you. In the superintendent's report, we have an ongoing update for construction on tomorrow evening at 6:30, open to the public. Our facility committee is meeting. We'll be joined by Mr. David Horn of Architectura, who is the architect for the stadium project. We'll be talking about details regarding stadium construction and specifically acquisition of and supplies. And then under item B, we request the board to approve the second and final reading of Board Policy 203, immunizations and communicable diseases.
So moved.
Comments or questions, folks? Do you want a roll call on this?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead.
Stephen Maud,
Yes.
Maria Serene,
Aye.
William Lysette,
Aye.
Christopher Wayock,
Aye.
Nicole King,
Aye.
Kyle Gangware,
No.
Jeffrey Demick,
Aye.
Emily Gaiman,
No.
Mary Jo Reinhardt,
Aye. Motion carries.
I'll just take under curriculum, student staff activities. There's a proposed camp, as I understand, has been on this agenda many times in the past. So we request the board to approve the proposed Southern Lehigh School District camp for summer 2022 as described.
So moved.
Okay, wait a second. Kyle. Did you make a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Okay, and Nicole's the second. Just going down. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, and under business, a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Any questions, folks? Comments?
I just had a quick question on the, under UGI. I think there's two different UGI bills. Do you mind just explaining the differences? Yeah, well, one's under UGI Energy Services, the other's under UGI Utilities, one for almost 11,000, the other for 20,000. Okay. Okay.
I just had a quick question, just for clarification. There's in there for a bill paid to Southern Lehigh High School, and I just wondered what the mechanics were of that and what that meant. Not that it's a big value, but just to understand better for myself.
I'm going to ask the business director to use the microphone because we have people listening virtually and our virtual audience can't hear your responses, which are helpful.
Yeah, that could be a reimbursement to student activity fund, when you're asking about the high school. Yeah, yes.
Yes, correct. I just wondered what that was. It just seemed, since it was the high school under the entire budget and finances. So that's all. And I don't need to have the answer now. If you don't know, that's fine. But I thought I would ask since we were reviewing.
Oftentimes, there'll be internal transfers where funds are self-sustaining. So for example, cafeteria, we would sometimes pay a bill to ourselves in the cafeteria because the cafeteria fund stands by, it's a standalone. So they would actually generate an invoice and then receive a revenue item because of services they provided, which allows them to kind of run as their own standalone activity. So it could be something along the lines of that. Student activity accounts are much the same.
Yeah, and also with this particular bill, there's two different breakdowns. The first one is actually for wrestling dues and fees, and that was the amount for $60. The other component is broken down to date dues and fees. So again, those would be extracurricular activities. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
Just a real quick question. Can you comment on the, I see a number of bills from various charter schools, and, as we know, that's a pretty significant, hit to the bottom line of the budget. Are all the charter schools the same cost to the district?
No, there's various tuition fees, the cyber, for instance, is one fee. Some of the other charter schools, they all have their own particular fees. What we do is we review the bills to ensure that there's actually attendance by the students and that they're actually charging the rates that were approved. And my accountant actually goes through those with me each month prior to the bills together. I think you'll also notice in the financial report that was provided to the board tonight was a detail of the total cost and impact of the charters. And a couple of them are actually in the top 10 as far as, our actual bills for the month.
Yeah, no, it's very helpful. Thank you for that verification process. I think that's important.
And since we're at it, there's a couple of other bills that might give you a little bit of a breakdown. Avena Healthcare, if anybody's wondering what that particular bill is, that's a deposit bill. It's $50,000, it's broken out over 3 months of billing. And it's actually for OTPT services. So if you just looked at the name, you would think it's, medical health care, but it's actually occupational and physical therapy over 3 months at about $16,000 per month. One of the other bills that kind of stood out that I think the board should be aware of is Brandywine. $260,000 is not necessarily just the monthly impact of the transportation services. They accounted for about $184,000. In addition, the $75,000 made up our athletic travel for the division athletics for that time period. And another question that came up with respect to the bills tonight when we were talking about transportation was what we're actually paying for diesel. So one of those bills is on the bills list, and I just did a quick check of it. And that's 7,500 gallons for 18,340 brew, picking up 244 per gallon, which is much lower than the typical rate out there, plus the tax free. So does that help you a little bit with the bills list tonight? Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
And the treasurer's report. We request the board to approve the treasurer's report.
Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and it now looks like the last action item on the agenda is under human resources. And may I ask if there is any interest in taking that section as a consent motion to move ahead, or is there a preference that we break it out?
I think we can take a consent
Okay, so
motion.
hearing no concerns, then we request the board to take the human resource report in its entirety and ask for a motion for its approval.
Any questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Joy, if I could, on human resources, just to add for information purposes, I have two committees that I'm working with that relate to human resources. I just a very, very quick update, if I could. Dr. Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to the rest of the board. You guys appointed me as the sole representative on the ACMC For those folks in the audience, the ACMC committee is the one that approves graduate courses for our staff, as well as both to be paid for and also to allow for step movement. In other words, allowing them to move up to a master's or a master's plus 15 on their pay scale. So we had the opportunity to meet. I had been on that committee many years ago, and I'm just happy to I was happy to meet with the two representatives from the I guess it's technically from the SLEA, I guess is who's they're in that form representing there, and thought we had a very good meeting. We're going to try and revamp. Mr. Pigeon is facilitating that, as well as myself, Mr. Pigeon, Mrs. Cartouche at the high school, and I believe Mr. Miller over at the intermediate school. But we're going to try and look at a couple of our forms so we can get a little bit greater information on what folks are looking to do. Ultimately, we're trying to see how it benefits the district before we approve things. And I think we all agree that just have a little more information about what we're currently getting. So Mr. Pigeon's taking that. We'll be getting that and getting that information together. I won't report on that really going forward beyond this, but I just want to let you know those are the kind of changes we're going to look at. And I think we're off to a good start with that committee. And then second, we have an Act 93 committee that's been formed. Myself and Ms. King, together with members of the administration, will be meeting with our Act 93 folks to discuss. Look forward to the first meeting with them and see some of their concerns and where we can make life a little better for them and express some of the things that we want to see as well. So we are working towards that as well. Thank you.
Thanks for the update. Okay.
New business, unless there's any.
Mr. Lyset, I believe, has new
Yeah.
business.
Thank you. I'm going to need to step back from LCTI because I have a high number of conflicts with the meeting date, and also for the time that I'll need to put into leading the facilities committee, both a personal and kind of professional conflict that I have with their meetings, though, as the primary driver. That said, I believe we have from the board would like to step into that role with Steve. Great. Another way of approaching it is that we could put out to the community looking for an interested party that could interview and may have some connections that would both be beneficial for the school, but also for the community to possibly be the representative. And I think that's within our leeway from a board that we can appoint a community member. So if the board's so inclined, that might be an option, unless someone is willing to step up from the board.
You said the LCTI?
Correct.
Yeah, that has to be a school board member.
It does. Okay. Then we'd need a school board member who could step in then.
Well, and not tonight. I don't think we need one. So we could look for,
Bill, when are you looking to?
As soon as possible. The meeting coming up on next Wednesday, it's this Wednesday. This Wednesday I have a conflict with. That's right. It's the third Wednesday.
And when are the meetings?
They are every third Wednesday of the month, and they are up at the LCTI campus. Unless you have a pressing issue, then you can dial in remotely, but that's preferred. And they begin with the committee meetings at what, 5:30?
Yeah. And you're right, you can't just simply attend virtually. You need to get approval for that from the chairperson. So otherwise you go in person.
How does voting work? Do you vote by the members, or does Southern Lehigh get a vote out of curiosity?
Each member would actually vote. Yep. So, and of course, there are other school districts that have more representation due to size, obviously. So, there's two.
Okay, so Mr. Maud, you are attending on Wednesday,
Yep.
and Mr.
And I'm on the
Lyset.
education committee there, so.
Yeah, I have a conflict. I'm actually down in Maryland, so we'll not be able to make it back.
Can we send an alternate for one?
one meeting? Do we have to have?
I don't know. I don't know.
So I will be there to toe the rope, so to speak, until we figure this out. I think they'll definitely have a quorum. I don't think there's any concern with any of that.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to send an
Yeah,
alternate.
okay.
So for next,
So for next
We could
meeting,
find a
if
hopeful candidate.
we can talk about, if somebody would like to step up to fill Mr. Lysett's role,
Thank you.
please get in touch with me or Mike, Mr. Mayhem.
Sure.
Okay. Any
Yeah.
other, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, in the same vein, I'm not stepping down. I just have a CLIU report. I'm the board representative to the IU board. And my update from our last meeting is that there was a departmental presentation from from Speech and Assistive Technology. It was great to hear. They have 15 therapists there serving 420 students throughout all different districts. My two other notes here are that the support staff contract that Mr. Pepe mentioned at our last meeting with regard to budget and approving that, the anticipated support staff contract was indeed approved. And there was the unanimous election of a new CLIU board president, Mr. George Williams from White Hope Copley School District. I just want to congratulate him, and we had a great meeting. That was my CLIU update. I will not have an update for the month of February because the IU does not meet in February.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other new business?
I'll just give you a brief report from the first meeting I attended, just for your edification too. I abstained from a few votes because I was not yet up to speed. So I filled out those forms, just so you know why. The reasons are on the forms. They are looking into various things, but earlier tours for students down below the middle school level. There are other opportunities for new curriculum, one of which is already in process for animal sciences. There's a sign up for that. They are filling quickly, so if anybody is looking to subscribe to the animal sciences program that will be starting next year, they should sign up because it'll be first come, first serve, and the attendance will be limited until they get that ramped up. And this would be for students that are interested in veterinary sciences, a veterinarian, tech, anything of that sort. Similar in structure to the emerging health professionals program. And also the budget will be coming up soon for review. That'll be submitted. So those were the main topics. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Maud. Any other new business? Do we have any visitor comments post-meeting?
Seeing you out there.
While she's checking, can I just say one more thing about just the previous discussion about board structure? I just want to convey the movement in the area of facilities committee is underway, and that's, we all know that, but I think it's important for the public to know that we have a committee for reviewing these things and getting more in depth. And I think that follows suit with some of the other discussions we've had in the workshop, in order to have additional resources and investigative analysis on all of these topics. So we'll have the educational committee and other things that will help with that. That's it.
Yes, it
Thanks.
will. I agree.
No comments? We have no visitor comments post-meeting. So I ask for a motion to adjourn. Any more comments, questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
8 p.m. exactly. 8 p.m. exactly.
We're adjourned at 8 p.m., 1 hour.
Exactly. Very good, very good.
I have-
Great work. Yes.
Me too. I like